Hello, I'm very excited today to be introducing Jolly English. It's a product I've been waiting for a very long time because I myself work with very young learners and I work in ESL, English as a Second Language. Jolly English has been designed for students with very little or zero knowledge of English, which is a wonderful place to begin. It's always a challenge as a teacher, right? Where do you begin with a 4-year-old child or a 3-year-old child who has zero English? This has been designed for that with two really important factors kept in mind. Number one is, in order to become a good reader or a good, strong reader of English, you need to have not only phonic awareness, so you understand the sounds of the letters and how they work together to create words, you also need to understand what you're reading. So there are two aspects that work together here. There's comprehension of language, and there's knowledge of phonics. And in the past, one has often been taught at the expense of the other. This product wonderfully does both. It will slowly introduce phonic sounds in the context of child-friendly, age-appropriate stories, songs, and activities. Now, it's not a replacement for Jolly Phonics, but it certainly can be pre-taught before Jolly Phonics to get the students highly aware before they begin stage one, or it could be taught alongside Jolly Phonics. So this could be the language acquisition stream in your syllabus. The second aspect that's important to keep in mind with very young learners is the idea of receptive and productive. Receptive is your ability to listen to language and understand, and read language and understand what you're looking at. Productive is the ability to speak and write. At this level, at this age, we are highly focused on the receptive aspect. So you'll see there's not really any writing involved. It's mainly tracing dots, dot to dots, colouring in, focusing on fine motor skills at a very young age in a language context. Now, in the kit, in the teacher's kit, which I'm displaying here, it's very colourful, it's really interesting, and it's very diverse. Every kit would have teacher's book level 1 and level 2. There are 2 levels in the product. Every teacher's kit would give you pupil book 1 and practice book 1, pupil book 2 and practice book 2. There are also 296 very, very high quality flashcards. I'm a really big fan of these. We might talk about these a bit more in a minute, but I do like them. They're color coded. There's lots of them. And one box covers both years. You also get a beanbag. You can do cool, fun circle games, you can do chain drills, you can do communicative language drills with that. And of course, not forgetting Inky, Snake and Bee. They're not just dolls, they're actual puppets that you can put on and engage the children with and talk with them. And when they're being asked to communicate, they can communicate with the puppet. It would be far less anxiety producing or stressful to talk to a puppet than the teacher. I find that really useful. My students really enjoy that. Each level provides 44 lessons, approximately 45 minutes each. Now, as an ESL teacher, for very young learners, you might want to only spend 30 minutes. Well, the book's great for that. It's very versatile. It's very flexible. You can cut things down or you can add things into it. If you have a phonics morning with the kids where you might have an hour, 2 hours longer, you can springboard from the content into activities. Or you can stick to the core teacher's book, which is the reason why we have a pupil and a practice book. We'll get to that in a minute. Additional resources, the puppets, the flashcards, all go to engage the children, because we all know how easy it is for very young learners to go off task. Both levels have a 48-page colour pupil book, and they're very colourful. They're very well made. They're really, really high quality images, and we'll talk about how you can use them more in a moment. They also have these wonderful stickers in the middle, which I really like. The sticker activities are great, because you'll see there are black and white parts on each colour page where the students are being asked to add the stickers. There's also a 48-page black and white practice book. This can be used in class, at home, for homework, for supplementary work, enrichment or intervention, and a 112-page full color teacher's book. It's full color. It comes with an audio CD. We'll get into this more in a minute, but these are super useful. They're actually very beautifully made as well, really high quality. There's also photocopiable resources in the back. And we'll get more into that in a minute because they're a super resource for teachers that are going through this product. In addition to that, this is the teacher set that the teacher would receive. You would then need to get your students to buy book 1 or book 2, and they would get both books. They're not sold separately, they come as a set. Book 2 is 2 books. Level 2 is 2 books. Level 1 is 2 books. The colour books, okay, that we're looking at here, level 1, level 2, these are all age appropriate. They're very, very engaging because we know how easy it is for kids to go off task. They're basically colouring activities, matching activities, counting, tracing, using the stickers, using the images to elicit lots and lots of language. And the language is going to be phonically driven as well. So it's going to match the Jolly Phonics Stage 1. It's going to get through all 42 sounds throughout the course of this syllabus. The practice books can be used in class at the end of a teaching moment. They can be used to give the children something to sit and calmly, quietly practice their fine motor skills while reinforcing the language and the grammar learn, or the phonics learn. They can also be used as homework or at home to support at home. They don't just cover the immediate content. They go through numeracy, we do numbers, colours. The scope and the sequence is very well set up for 2 to 6-year-old children. The units, each book has a welcome unit and then 8 units that follow a very specific scope and sequence. So it's not advisable to jump from one unit to another. You follow them in order because they build on each other, which is really important as a cohesive, comprehensive strategy. The units are naturally about the children's environment. Children are most interested in themselves, which is why you'll find most books always begin with the I, and the introduction unit's all about introducing yourself. And it's things like my garden, my school, at the farm, at home, my day, at the beach. It's all about their life, which is very important to children, especially at this age. Unit 2, or sorry, level 2, does the same thing, but it starts to come into more narrative at this point. Fox at the farm, fun at the fair, a camping trip. Starts getting, as they get older, they're able to follow sequencing more. Sequencing is a very useful tool when you're teaching. Okay? The teacher's book is usable from every level, whether you are an old professional that's been doing it for 20, 30 years and you know exactly how to approach very young learners, or if you're very new. The teacher book has everything you'd need in there. It has tips and tricks, all the way up to slightly more engaging, in-depth looks at what you're trying to teach. There's also photocopiable resources. There's an audio CD that could also be downloaded, phonics, okay, detailed introductions. It's all in there. And it looks very straightforward like this. 1 unit, 4 lessons. How you pace that is down to your individual program. However, it's very structured. Every unit has the same number of lessons at the same pacing, with healthy reviews at the end of every couple of units. One thing I really like about the teacher book is it's very, very clear. Okay, every lesson has a double spread. And that double spread covers how to use the pupil book, how to use the workbook, suggested additional activities, suggested enrichment for phonics, songs, chants, dialogues, vocab. It's all there with a quick reference to the actual pages in the book. Now that's super useful. It's also pretty impressive to see that there's a double spread lesson plan for a single 30 minute to 1 hour lesson. That's a lot of information for you to curate. You can choose what's most appropriate for you, move forward at the pace that's best for your kids. I really appreciate this, and it means you can get up and running very quickly. It doesn't require large amounts of training. A teacher can basically look at the lesson plan, look at the books, they're right next to each other, and approach that day, that week, that month's content. Book 2 is the same. I'm just showing you how book 1 and book 2 have the same setup, the same layout. You'll notice in book 2, the pictures are slightly more detailed. There's more going on, more opportunity for elicitation. The practice books are slightly more complicated, with slightly more fine motor skills being required of the students. Okay, So you end up with like a massive amount of resource here. It's basically an inner box syllabus for very young learners. The flashcards, now there's 15 subjects or topics in 296 cards. Now there's a few great ideas I love about these. Number one, they're good quality. Number two, they're small. They're not massive, but they're not too small. They're the right size. Hold in your hand while talking with young children. It's a very good size as well. They're color coded. These are the pink ones, yellows, blues, greens, and those color codings relate directly to the teacher book. So there's no confusion about which cards you're needing, and in the back it will tell you which unit you're teaching and which lesson and which number it is under what topic. So all the info is right there, so you never need to get confused or run around searching for cards. They're just in the box that sit on your desk and they're easy to grab and go. Every unit follows the same 4-lesson structure, which is really important to get into a routine with your kids, really important to get into a routine with yourself. What are you teaching on Monday? What are you teaching on Tuesday, Wednesday? All right. Lesson 1 is always your first 6 new words. There's always a healthy review. That's important to remind ourselves. There's always a healthy review of previous conversations and structures. Then there's 6 new words. Lesson number 2 would reinforce that, review that, recycle that, and add 4 more words. Lesson 3 would then be a story. Remember, we're focusing on this receptive idea, right? That we're asking students to listen and identify what they're hearing. We're using the story in the book to point and say, repeat after me, chant along, sing the songs, play with the puppets. Lesson 4 would be a song. You can then keep reviewing as the syllabus moves on. It gives you a very clear scope and sequence, your learning objectives, your target language, your receptive language, which is even instructing the teacher on how you should speak in class. That's really helpful, giving you very simple speech patterns and focus skills for your phonics enrichment or pre-teaching before you get into stage 1 for real. This is lesson 3 from Pupil Book 1. I think it's unit 5, and it's from My Day, and it's the story. So in this unit, they would have already learned a bunch of things about what they like, what they don't like. They would have already learned colors, numbers. They would have learned inky, snake, and bee. They would have learned the characters. They will know the word duck, and all of the vocab words would have already been pre-taught. You'd be asking the students before you hear the story, what's happening? Who's this? Who's that? What do you think is going to happen? How does he feel? Does Inky like the rain? Does Snake like the rain? Right? And they're also already into phonics group 3 at this point. So now the story, let's just jump back 1 sec. You see the story, there's Inky jumping in the rain in a puddle. Bee's okay, Snake's kind of grumpy about it. Inky then starts showing off, jumping up and down on the log. Oh no, oh no, oh no, and he falls in. And it's all very funny and everybody finds it very amusing. That's the story. You don't need to stick with that on its own. You can now look into sequencing. Oh no, the pictures have all been mixed up. Can you put them back in order? Can you tell me what's happening in each one? You're eliciting language all the time from this. And then of course the students put them back in order for you. You can cut them out, you can do all kinds of things with that. You could also use individual images. What's this? What's that? What color are his boots? What color are his boots? How does he feel? How does he feel? What's the snail thinking? How many trees have been chopped down? Why were they chopped down? Who chopped them down? There's so much you can go to. And you can even get creative. You could say to the kids, okay, everybody, close your eyes really, really tight. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Boom. What's changed? What can you see now? Now I can see a blue square and a purple triangle and a red circle. Adjective, noun, shape, 3 shapes, counting, you can do everything. What do you think is behind the blue square? Can you remember? Was it a donut? No, it wasn't. Was it an ice cream? No, it wasn't. Do you remember? Let me grab my mouse. Do you think it was Bee's boots? What color were his boots? Were they green, pink, or yellow? Should we look? They were pink. Inky's pink boots were behind the blue square. What's behind the purple triangle? Do you remember? Was it a butterfly? No. Was it a ladybird? No, it wasn't. Was it a snail? It was a snail. You're doing a lot of grammar here. Is it? Yes, it is. No, it isn't. What was behind the red circle? It was an umbrella. Was it a blue umbrella? A yellow umbrella? A pink umbrella? It was a pink umbrella. So you can see the potential there for a lot of extra elicitation. And then it comes with a supplementary page in the practice book. That can be done in class, for intervention, extension, differentiation, or as homework. Okay, so this is a really good start to English. I'm really excited to be using this year. If you need any more information after this, you would go to step 1, Jolly Phonics. We have some brand new classroom kits. Please feel free to look on the catalogue on the website for that. And if you need any more information, feel free to reach out to us at Jolly Learning. Thank you so much.